Take it away,
Ready?
maestro.
All right, we're going in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today on Carnival Cruising Podcast Ways. Today, we are looking at the greatest mistakes that we've made on our cruises. So, welcome, Trevor Shelby, Gary Manning, and Thomas Kennedy.
Woo! Oh my goodness.
I hate baseball.
Oh my gosh. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
I can't believe you made me do a baseball entry.
All right. It's the 7th inning stretch.
Yeah, it really is. Welcome everybody to Carnival Cruising Podcastaways. Man, it feels like it's been at least a week since we've seen each other.
It's been longer than a week. Yeah,
it really has. But we're recording this a little late than we normally do. Tom didn't want to be out here yesterday, and so
whatever. You're the one who's like, I got stuff to do.
Yeah, I
did. And then Gary's like, I'm glad we didn't record.
Yeah. Well, you said the same thing over the phone, mister. So I'm just saying.
You know, I was earning money.
You're out earning some money. He's working that corner. So
hey, get it when you can.
Yep. But man, so how have you guys been?
Well, I had the yesterday off because of Juneteenth.
Yeah.
You know, that's, you know, and other than that, I've just been working. How have you guys been?
Pretty darn good.
I don't think Gary can hear it.
No, I hear everything. I don't really know if I want to answer this question at all because I just had my fourth Monday in a row today. So that just explains where I've been and how I've been and everything else, guys. So
wow.
And I'm on, as you can, if you're watching on Spotify, you will see that I'm actually literally sitting in my truck on my way home. And I will get home tonight. I will load my ladder rack back on my truck that came with my truck, put some ladders on my truck, and then go back to the job that I've been working at for the past 3 days to try to finish it up because they don't have ladders that I need. So.
Oh
man.
Yeah.
So if you're watching us on Spotify, you're also going to see Gary go from dry to wet.
Yeah. So this will be a fun transition. If you skip to the ending right now, you'll see a mess. But oh man, yeah. But just like the last 822 episodes, we have done 2 truths and a lie. And you know, I feel like that, you know, we have some wires crossed here because I was looking at the poll for last week.
I haven't been able to see it because I've been so busy at work and I haven't even been on Facebook. So please enlighten me.
So because people for whatever reason think that I'm not going to go ghost hunting, they voted that 63% said I am the liar.
Wow, so 63. 63. That's the highest percentage that we've got. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they know how much that hotel costs, and there was like, there's no way Trevor's going to pay that much to stay one night in that hotel.
Or they're like, he's so close to Arkansas. Why doesn't he go to the Crescent?
Yeah, maybe. So Tom got 27%, and that was his no AC story. And Gary, it was listed as what's that smell? And he only got 10% of the vote. I think he got 1 vote. So
that was me. Yeah, I voted for him.
So
wow. And I was the liar last week. My story did not happen. I made it up completely.
Well, I just want you to know that I did not go ghost hunting, and I also was a
Well,
liar last week.
you had plans to go though. It's not that you
Yeah,
didn't. I mean, you were considering it. You're tossing it around.
I thought about it, but it wasn't for ghost reasons.
Oh, okay. So you were lying last week too, even though the whole time we said
Mhm.
I was going to be the liar.
Absolutely. Well, this week I'm going to start things off. I just want you guys to know that, I know that he's had a hard week this week. I know that, he's it's been real difficult. But Gary calls and he's like, "Guys, I'm 2 hours from my house. Can I just take tonight off? Can I please go home?" And I said, "Oh, sounds like someone doesn't want to be a part of the show." And so I told him, "You know what? If you don't make it tonight, just don't make it next week either. How about that?" And so that's Gary's gonna sweat off because you know what? I'm mean like that.
That's why I'm here.
Wow.
So Mr. Kennedy.
Oh, is that where you're going with? Okay.
Yeah, what is your truth?
Wow. So several years ago, my buddy Brian and Shelly, of course, they're Addie and Trent's parents.
Mhm.
They we used to hang out in their garage, and they had garage cats and stuff. Well, they had this one garage cat. She loved me. She'd always jump on me, pet me. Wanted me to pet her and stuff like that. Well, she got pregnant, and she had a litter of kittens. And this litter of kittens was actually, she built the nest that she had them on with an unused passport photo of me. So these kittens were born on a picture of me. And
That's your papa.
That is hilarious.
so yeah, I mean that's what everyone said was that those were my kids. I'm like, well, then why are you giving them away?
Yeah.
But they kept one of them.
Yeah.
And that cat, every time I would go home, like one time I got in my car and I was going home and I heard meow, and the cat jumped on my head while I was driving, and I had to back up and throw the cat out the window because it was trying to go home with me.
That's too funny.
So
That
Wow.
cat was like,
Yeah.
"I belong with you."
you're my daddy. I'm not your daddy. You're a bastard.
You are now the cat daddy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I
You gotta
mean,
change your name now.
change your name to the cat daddy, because yeah, you are. If I wasn't in an invite link, I would definitely be changing it right now. Just to know.
Oh,
But
Trevor's working
yeah,
on it right now. I know.
okay. So I will tell you, for this week, I am telling the truth. And when I tell you that I am physically, mentally, spiritually exhausted, it's not a lie. And Trevor sit there and browbeat me to come on this show tonight, and it is okay. I mean, I do what I do because I made a commitment, and I got to come through and follow through. The thing is you don't make excuses, you make solutions.
Listen, I wasn't on that call, and I just want you to know you did not sign a contract. We're still waiting on that signed contract. So I mean, you can do whatever you want, really.
It's true.
So,
But yesterday, I thought I drank enough water yesterday. I drank 1.5 liters.
oh
Well,
wow.
I got to the hotel, and I could not move my hands. My hands were just like literally just like
Oh.
cramped and everything else. Well, long story short, I ended up having to go pee. I go pee, and my pee was almost brown. It
Oh.
was
wow.
I was so dehydrated. I was like, okay. So today I've drank 3.5 liters, and I'm working on my 4th right now.
There you
I
go.
haven't had any cramps. That's crazy the way that goes.
That's nuts.
But anyways, let's stop talking about cramps and our
Yes.
our daily mistakes, and let's talk about some other mistakes we've made.
That's a good segue to actually something that we're going to talk about today, which is maybe some of our past cruising mistakes, things that we've done in the past that we kind of like, well, not doing that again. So it's catching on.
Wow.
So Yeah, so if you're on Spotify, you might have caught on there. So so yeah, so this right here, the truth teller. So we were going to bring up basically some things that we've done in the past that maybe we're not going to do again. Some mistakes, some cruising mistakes, maybe some noob things that we've done here or there. So yeah, I don't know who wants to start off, but
I will start just by saying I want to apologize ahead of time.
okay.
Okay.
Typically, I'm in a hotel room or I'm at my house and I'm in a confined space.
Mm-hmm.
I am outside with birds flying around, cars driving by. The is kicking in tremendously right now. Like I just saw a bird. I was like, "Ooh, bird!" So
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Hey,
Squirrel.
I kind of like it though because we get these nice bird tweet sounds now,
oh,
and
everyone's you can hear the yeah.
so our audience, I'm sure, is gonna love this. So
Well, I would roll my windows up, but we would have to stop recording.
yeah. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying we should put up a poll. Are you
Okay.
pro bird or anti bird? So
Okay. Well, the cat daddy definitely is anti-bird. I can promise you that.
so Gary, remember to put that poll out.
I'll listen to it. When I listen Saturday, then I'll remember.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm
wow.
terrible
Oh,
at those
gosh.
things, so. But yeah, one of my I trying to think. It's probably my second time I was on the Magic. It was a free cruise that I was on, and it was kind of funny because I went on a cruise and then they had like a lottery thing where people got some free cruises, and we got a free cruise. We'd only been on one cruise, and so it was kind of lucky, and it really helped us into our cruise fandom. And so we didn't have a lot of money, and our thoughts were we're gonna stay in Galveston on cheap as possible. So we found a hotel. It was like $40 a night, and it was in Galveston. And oh my god, like we checked into this place. And I was pretty sure I called Tom and I was like, dude, if I go missing, if Megan and I go missing, it is because we got murdered here. And it was the creepiest, it was the creepiest place that I've been in a very, very long time. Like I've stayed in. There was only like 5 parking spots, but there were like 20 rooms. And that's no, I pulled into a parking spot and I did not leave because like you were not getting a parking spot.
Gary, when you guys go to Galveston next month,
Yep, we're going to. Yep.
Drive along Seawall. Look for the Motel 6. That's the one he stayed at.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
No.
it's not even a Motel 6. It's some like privately owned weird thing, and it's like it's got falling. It's part of the facade had fallen off of it at the time that we were there. Like the bricks were just like laying on the ground, and so. No, this was the creepy part though. We check in, and we had to wake the person up that was in the hammock behind the office so they could check us in. And then we go into the room, and for lamps, table lamps, they had like dollar store Disney, like one of them was a car, the movie Cars. It was a lamp, and then the other side it was like Barbie. And it was just weird. Like those were like the lamps that were on the desk, the side tables, and it was just odd. And I was like, "Oh, this is a murder room." The last thing I'm gonna see is that damn Cars lamp.
Yeah, exactly.
But
It comes crashing on your head.
I highly recommend, doing some research, find a good place to stay when you are in town, especially if it's a place you don't know very well. So
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. That's definitely one of those things that you want to avoid is just pulling into a town and saying, "Yeah, I think we can stay over here."
Mhm.
When we go to Galveston, we're staying in Texas City at the Spring Hill Suites,
yeah,
and my vehicle will stay there. It's not moving, and I will Uber to the port. So I won't
Good deal.
have any, I'm not driving into Galveston at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might. I do. I did since Juneteenth. Was celebrated yesterday. We're recording today on the 20th, and I've learned about that Juneteenth was actually originally in Galveston. I think I
Yeah.
might try to go down and see go down and see I think they have some kind of park or something down there. So I might show up the night before and go try that out. But yeah, that's gonna
Yeah.
be about it. So our very first cruise, 2001, 2002 on Royal Caribbean. It was just a little 3-day, I think 3 or 4 day cruise out of Tampa. And we went to the Bahamas. And so it might not have been out of Tampa. It might have actually, now that I think about it, I think it was out of Port Canaveral. But any of those, we go down and this is our first cruise. We are excited. We have some friends of ours that are going with us and other people. It's about 20, 30 of us. It's all with a church. And so we're like, we got, guys that always cruise all the time. And they're like, look, do not buy an excursion. Just go off and do your own thing. It's so much cheaper. You can always find somebody. So we're like, okay, sure, no problem. So we get there to the port and we ask a taxi driver. We're like, hey, where can we do snorkeling at? And he goes, oh, I have a friend. I was like, okay, cool. And he says he has his own boat. He'll charge all 4 of you, $100, $25 a piece. We're like, oh, great, So we go snorkeling. The guy takes us to some places. Amazing. I wish whenever I go back to the Bahamas, I had this guy's number so I could call him. Which
Yeah.
I mean, he was, but it was great. It was fantastic. He takes us out. He brings us back, and he drops us off right at Atlantis. We don't know anything about Atlantis at this time. This is prior to them building the second tower.
Mhm.
So this is just
Okay.
Atlantis was just the one tower. And we walk into Atlantis. We're walking through, we're looking at everything, and it's pretty neat. And so we were like, oh, wow, look, a pool. So we go out to the pool. We're out there, we're walking around, and we're like, oh, beach access. So we walk out of the pool, go out onto the beach access. We turn around, literally not even 5 minutes later, to go back through the pool. The guy stops us and says, hey, where's your wristband? We're like, wristband? What are you talking about? We just walked out. You just saw us walk out not even 5 minutes ago. We stopped. We haven't moved out of your sight. Yeah, but you got to have a wristband to get back in.
Oh.
We're,
Wow.
we're like, what? Okay, fine. Be that guy. That's okay. I don't care. So my wife, she had just twisted her ankle and she was in a walking cast. And so we're like, so where do we go? How do we do it? He goes, well, you just we walk down the beach and go around Atlantis. So we're like, okay. So
That's
we
a huge
decide.
area.
Exactly, right? So, and it's in the sand and everything else. We take a left instead of going right. We're walking and we're walking and we're walking. And all of a sudden we get to the end of Atlantis and it's like a ghost town, like these old condemned houses. And there's no stairs going down to the beach. There's no like access or anything. Finally, we get to a spot that we're able to go up into like this area where the house is. And we get up there and a guy comes riding by on a golf cart that is security. And he's like, what are y'all doing in here? And so we go through the whole story that I just told y'all about. And he's like, y'all can't be in here. This is a forbidden area. And we're like, okay, sorry. We didn't know. And so he puts us on his golf cart because, by this time my wife has finished walking. And we're like, what are we going to do? We already know, too, that we're kind of starting to push it, as far as the time to be back to the ship. He puts us on a golf cart, takes us out to the front, and there's a sign that says Club Med. We were in the condemned Club Med of the Bahamas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So back in the 80s, when everybody used to go to Club Med, that's where we were. Yeah. So he drops us off and we're like, hey, what's we look and we got like literally like 30 minutes before the ship leaves. We're like, how do we get back to the ship? What's the fastest way? He goes, man, you're just going to have to find a taxi. He says, unless if you want to try the ferry, he says, but He says, you're just going to have to get a taxi. We get a taxi. The bridge is backed up. We get to the pier as the horn starts to blow.
Oh.
We have to take off. My wife is in a walking boot, and we were lit. She was a pier hobbler, and the other three of us were pier runners.
Wow.
So that's my biggest cruise mishap that I've ever had. And so my advice to you is always have a plan. I sometimes I don't have a plan, but I'm always have a plan, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, like this particular thing, I mean, it was just a fluke. We walked out of, of Atlantis, couldn't get back in, and the guy wouldn't tell us which direction to go. If we would have went right, we might have been able to go back around Atlantis and get back and, to the area. But just a very poor series of events led to us on our very first cruise being pier runners. And that has caused my wife to be absolutely afraid. By the time it's 1 hour left to get back on the ship, she wants to be on the pier.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's
especially on Nassau's pier. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, see, I don't remember Nassau's pier being that long in 2002. Maybe if somebody else was cruising back then, because I want to say, like, they literally, it was almost a lot like, well, Cozumel's changed too. Cozumel used to have a short pier, and now they've got a long pier.
Yeah.
So I want to say that that's the way that it is. It was a shorter pier, and you just kind of got off and you walked out, and it was just all the taxis and stuff were there.
Yeah.
And now that they've got all those different berths for all of the big ships and stuff. But so that's my first mishap. I'll let Tom go, and then maybe we'll circle back around and cover it.
So, I mean, I've got a lot of mishaps, and I've been thinking, and this one's the one I'm going to go with, is introducing Trevor to cruising. Because let me tell you, the first cruise that we went on, it was the first time I ever was in a balcony room. And this fool would wake up at 2:00 in the morning. Then, like 6:00, go out on the balcony, see land, come in the room, get in my face and yell, "Land ho!" And we got Joey in the Pullman up there, and I get up and hit my head on the Pullman, and
he swung at me.
Well, yeah, I was having a good dream, and
so cruising can test a friendship, is what you're telling me.
Yep.
At least cruising with Trevor.
If you cruise with Trevor, make sure it's an interior room so he can't yell "land ho."
Oh, I'll do it anyways. I don't need land. Oh, that's great. Just to circle back a little bit, because we talked about having Atlantis wristbands. So
Hi, Megan.
She runs off. There was one time, and the only time I've been to Atlantis, and I'm probably never going back. And it was because we bought beach access to Atlantis, but that's all we got was beach access. And so you get to walk through the casino, and you get to go wind. They have a little winding path that goes through to the beach, and they give you wristbands and all that stuff. And there's a bar that's up there that you can go to and get some food or whatever. It was okay. But I've told it many times on the show, we were nonstop bothered by people trying to sell stuff to you while you're on the beach, nonstop. Every couple of minutes there was somebody trying to sell you something. And I get the hustle, but that's a bit much when you've got 50 people lined up selling the same stuff. And it's I told I'm pretty sure it was you You've been by 3 times now. So, but it's
And
kind
I
of
will tell
funny.
you too, do not buy it, because
Yeah.
as soon as you buy one thing, every other 50 people that are there are going to come to you and be like,
Right.
oh, you bought that, you should buy this too.
That's kind of like anywhere you go, though.
Yeah.
But not just there. But what's funny is you had a horrible negative experience when it comes to people wristband watching. They weren't watching us. So yeah, it's hilarious because we walked down, we didn't know we didn't have access, but the only bathrooms that you could get to that were there was you had to go down these stairs down into where they have an aquarium, and there's bathrooms right there at the entrance of the aquarium. And so we went and used the bathroom, and then we got out and we're like, well, there's this really cool aquarium, let's go check this out. So we walked through the whole aquarium, took we got pictures of like all the stuff, and we're just having a good time. And we realized, I think about halfway through, everyone's wristbands were different. And I was like, and so like we had like our beach towels and stuff, and we like put them over our arm. And we just kept walking. And so we ended up on the other side, which there's like water slides and like pools and like all kinds of stuff. And we walked through that a little bit. We weren't going to partake in anything, we just wanted to see it. And yeah, so that was
that's all we wanted to do.
Yeah, that was our experience. Nobody called us out on it. So
Well, be lucky, or be grateful, be thankful.
Yeah.
So,
we kept saying stuff. We kept going, pretend you belong. So,
well, that's the thing too. I mean, and that's what that's one of my things that I live by. As with my job, while I'm doing my job, I am one of those authorized personnel only. So if I'm in a hospital, I'm going everywhere and anywhere that I go, because I got to go everywhere. But I forget that when I'm not doing my job and I go to a hospital, I'm not one of those authorized people.
Yeah.
But I still go. And like Teresa's like, you can't go down there. I was like, look, hon, it'll be okay. I know what's this way. Let's just go this way. If anybody says anything, we'll just, we'll ask for forgiveness type of thing. But as long as, like I say, as long as you look like or you act like you know what you're doing, you'll be able to do things. That's that's pretty much But not with that guy not with that guy, man, that day in 2002. That was, or 2001, whatever day it was. But yeah, that was just
now
might even have been 2003.
Well, I will say my cruising mistake. One of my big ones early on as a new cruiser was forgetting I didn't pay the gratuities. And like being real meticulous with the cruise and like watching my spending, and then that last day, like the day before, it's just like bam, all these charges on there, and then I freak out. And this was the time we went to guest services because I was like, what is this? And they're like, well, you didn't pay it. And I was like, oh. And so we had even, this was kind of funny because we had even asked our room steward about it. And he told us that we can go to guest services, and because he knew what it was. He knew it was the gratuities had hit, and he was trying to get it to where he goes, it's better if you just take it off and just pay all that to me. And he was trying to trick us.
Wow.
Hey, you got, like we said, you got to admire the hustle.
Yeah. And so he was like, yeah, because he was acting like it all went to him anyways, but Carnival takes like their percentage. And he was like, you just pay it all to me. And I was like, maybe. And so, but yeah, no, that's, we left it how it was.
So there's two things there. And Tom, I don't mean, I'll see why I'm interrupting, but two things. One is, yes, gratuities does go to your room steward, but it also goes to other people behind the scenes, like your wait staff, people like that. So the second thing is we talked. You just spoke about gratuities, and we had a item come up in our chat today that you brought up. Do we want to take a break and talk about
Oh yeah.
withholding?
So yeah.
That dude is just a dick. Okay.
Yeah. So before we jump into it, Tom. So we will say this is definitely not one of the fine Carnival cruisers. Okay, this is over with our friends over at Royal Caribbean, and I found this posted somewhere. It's the "Am I an Asshole" Reddit thread, and so this guy goes on. He says, on disembarkation day with our family of 4, we were all packing up, and I laid my sports jacket blazer on the bed with the intention of wearing it, walking out, and not stuff it in a suitcase. He goes, I realized I forgot it while exiting the terminal, and it was too late to go back. I was instructed to create a lost item report on website, all details, information to start an investigation. A month later, they closed the ticket, saying they never found it. Disappointing as that was, partially my mistake, but should not have been a big deal for the cabin steward to find and retrieve it. Fast forward, we're going back on the same ship later this month. My plan is to have guest services remove the gratuities to partially cover the value of the item. I paid $300 for the jacket just last year. It's a 3-day weekend cruise out of Miami. Question, am I the asshole? What would you do?
Yes, you are an asshole because it's not partially your fault. It is your fault.
Yeah. And then you wait till you have you go on the website to complain about it. It was probably like a couple of days before they even knew that you were missing your jacket, and it was probably long gone and lost and found by that time, and somebody probably was like, that's my jacket, and you know what?
And who wears a sport jacket off the ship?
I don't know, man. Just a little, I do think he's an asshole. Why would you remove your gratuities? 100%. Why would you do it?
And the other thing is right. So, and my biggest issue with this, you're not your people that did this, quote unquote, did this to you, have already got tips.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you going to penalize your new people?
Yeah,
because of your ignorance. And then that's what I say. I don't say that he's an asshole. I just say that he's ignorant. That's all.
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite words. And I use it in several. But I use it in several different ways. But whenever I call you ignorant, that's basically saying you're just
Yeah. Well, and another Carnival brag, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned this since I went on the Alaskan cruise, but early on in the Alaskan cruise, I brought like 4 beanies with me, and I lost one. And it was during one of the dive-in movies, and I don't know what I did with it, and I think I set it on the table and I just forgot about it, and that was the last place I remember having it. And so I was nobody's going to keep up with a beanie, and I just was like, it's a done deal. And the next to the last day of the cruise, we were getting some things straightened out and fixed with our luggage situation. And Megan just asked the guy, she was like, hey, my husband lost his beanie, and this is what it looks like. She showed him a picture. She goes, do you happen to have it? And the guy was like, I'll check. And he looked pretty unsure, and he was more worried about our luggage situation. So he ran off, and he comes back with the fix to our luggage situation and my beanie. And so it's like my beanie went on a whole adventure while I was adventuring in Alaska. So
Carnival is amazing. We know this.
Absolutely.
So,
Tom, do you want to talk about one of your other mishaps? You said you had plenty.
I do have plenty. one of which I will never, ever, ever speak of.
Okay, we don't want to know about that one then.
No, we don't.
It was the
I will-
time
We
you
know about.
tried the
We know
breakfast
about.
burrito.
Yeah, well, and we know about. I mean, I know of a couple. I mean, you made a mermaid scream. That's one of those mishaps that you don't really want to do again. You eat the 12-hour French toast every time you're on a ship. That's another thing you don't.
No, that's not a
But
mistake. That's
and
that,
you also, had the 22 rounds in your backpack.
huh? I'm gonna say not one of the biggest is actually I think is not rebooking my cruise after my ACL surgery, because I was 3 months, almost 3 months to the day out from knee surgery, and I went on the Sunshine with Trevor
Mm-hmm.
and Megan, and where they released me from physical therapy and everything after a day of travel, and then a day of walking around New Orleans, or actually just a couple hours of walking around New Orleans. I was in pain almost the entire cruise. Trevor's mother-in-law gave me some medicine and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
like it was that pier in Nassau was like murder for me to get to walk from.
Yeah.
And I came prepared with a cane and everything, and it was just like maybe I should have gotten a scooter, but if you have something, a major surgery like a knee surgery or something, do something for your mobility, like maybe getting a scooter. You may not need it all the time, but you may, it may save you some staying in your cabin. So
Yeah. Remember that too, because I have a video somewhere. I'm serious. I saw it recently. I didn't realize that because I had a Google phone at the time, or it was a Android phone or something. I don't remember. It was a phone that was
Wow, an
connected to
Android.
Google, and it saved all my stuff onto the
That's the way.
Google
That's
Cloud.
the way. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
That's the way. That's the way Android works. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
So all my stuff was connected there, and so I was like looking through it because I had a friend recently passed away, and I was trying to find some videos of him, and we did a whole bunch of Vines back in the day when Vine was a thing, and it was the same time we were on the Sunshine, and I was like, no way. I was like, I thought this footage was gone.
yeah.
I was like long gone. And one of them is Tom walking down the hallway, and he's struggling. I mean, just at this point in the cruise, you could tell he was having a tough time. So,
Yeah.
but
But yeah,
So
if I had to do it over again, I would rent a scooter.
yeah,
okay. So I was going to ask you what the takeaway was: is to not book the cruise, or go ahead and just take the mobility scooter and work it that way.
I would take the mobility scooter.
yeah.
Okay.
And remember,
So
you do that, you can do the scooter shuffle. So.
that's right. Hey, you know what? I listened to that album. I listened to that album just the other day, as a matter of fact. I
Did
try to
you?
listen to it at least. Yeah, I try to listen to it once a week at least, just to try to get it up over 1,000 listens.
That cruise, that cruise. First off, it took me five times going through the metal detector before I realized I had my knee brace on, and
Yeah.
it was setting. That's what was setting off the metal detector. So I had to go and get frisked because, of course, I had a knee brace on, and I forgot about it. They're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you're good."
You like being frisked, though.
No, I don't. It wasn't. If they had maybe like Cindy Crawford or something back in the day,
Or Kindle Fire.
yeah, But no, I also got the people to get on early, so for that cruise, yeah,
Yeah, that was the big win for all of us.
yeah.
Because we all got we were like, we're with them.
The guy's like watching me, and he sees that after I get frisked because of the knee brace and everything, he sees I'm limping a little bit, and he's like, You need a wheelchair or anything? I was like, maybe, you know. And they bring a wheelchair, and he's like, "Who's your handler?" I'm like, "Handler? Yeah, who's in your room with you?" I was like, "Oh, Trevor."
Nice, nice. So
Oh,
well,
too
and
funny.
all right. So I will be honest and real. I always try to be transparent. I hardly ever try to tell lies. And so I want to just I don't want to sound like a cruise expert or, some perfectionist or whatever. But I really only have that I can think of because I went through this with Teresa and I asked her, I said, what all, she's like, the Nassau thing about being a peer runner. She says, that's all I can think about.
Yeah.
And so I was like, really? I said, well, I tell you what, I said, what about, and this can't, I mean, I shouldn't say this can't happen again. I'm hoping that it will not happen again. But and I have made mention of this many times in the last few episodes, and I hesitate saying this again, but I'm going to preface it with taking the cruise on the very first opportunity after the shutdown, after the pause. We got on an MSC ship, the Meraviglia, and I really, 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 today, I guess it's kind of equivalent of taking the inaugural cruise of a ship.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you always hear about people will tell you, oh man, this was wrong,
Yeah.
but we knew going into this, we were like, okay, look, these guys have not cruised in, what is it, 18 months or something, 16, there was some god awful amount of time. I can't remember the amount of time. And so we knew we had to pack our patience. And we took a 5-day cruise, but by day 3 at 0.99, right before we went to bed to go to day 4,
Mm-hmm.
we were like, okay, this is just way worse than whatever we ever thought of that it could be. And so I chalked it up as being like I've told you before, we've talked about our worst cruise ever. But my mishap with my avoidance, the cure to this is going to be after a shutdown, do not be as bad as you're jonesing for a cruise. I mean, as bad as it might be, wait a week or 2 weeks, or maybe even a month. Let them get reacclimated, let them get resettled, and all of that. Because I've talked to people who have done MSC since then, even the Meraviglia, and they have enjoyed it. They've liked it. They were impressed with it. And so that's one of those things that's leaning Teresa and I to taking an MSC cruise in September for our anniversary. With that being said, so like I said, so the mishap, the avoidance is do not book a cruise after a long pause of cruising.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't think of any like major like oopsie mistakes except for maybe my parents who our last cruise, a 2-week Alaskan cruise, we're getting ready. I have my platinum benefit, so we're getting on the ship, and they have taken their luggage and given it to a porter, and their passports are in it. And it must I it is divine intervention that I was happened to be got the phone call of this is going on, this is real, and the person that I need to speak to about this is actually standing almost right next to me, the employee that's at the port. So I approach her and I said, can I said, I've got a situation. She pops up her radio. She goes, we need to take care of this now. And she starts calling on the radio, starts calling things out. I mean, like she pulls me like I could almost touch the ship. And like we were out through all the we had Megan and her mom and I we had gotten all the way to where you're walking and the ship is right there. You know what I mean? Like we got through all of security, and so I had to go all the way back through, and I left all my stuff with Megan, and I told them to stay. I was like, by God, don't go through with this with me. And so we had to go through all of that finding the luggage and all that stuff. And luckily, we were lucky that my mom had some freaking, like, it was a oddly colored suitcase, and they were able to find it, because yeah, it could have ended up on the ship and been just a whole bad deal. So yeah, they wouldn't have gone. So they had no birth certificates, no nothing on them. So
I'm surprised you need a passport. Need them for the passport to go to Alaska, because I mean it's only one stop that's out, and that's the last day.
that's all you need. So, but yeah, I mean, the way it's set up, you have to make that stop in Canada. So it's,
But I thought
make
they,
it,
I thought they
you
checked their passport there, and that's your go through customs and stuff there. So
yeah, it's a mess, but we got through it. And so please, when you're handing something to a porter, by God, make sure you have everything. And so, and also, it's never a bad idea to bring a backup. Think about it like, you know what? I've got my passport. I know it's going to get me on that ship. But if something were to happen to that passport from A to B, how am I going to get on the ship? You might want to pack your birth certificate and whatever else that is required. So it's never a bad idea. I'll put it that way. So
I'm surprised one of the things you wasn't that you've talked about wasn't, make sure you have your wife's luggage when you leave the ship.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
It's not necessarily. It's not leaving the ship, Thomas, because he had his luggage
Oh,
getting off of the ship.
it's loading it into the Uber. Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
It's putting it in the car or the vehicle while you're leaving the port.
God, that almost got me in
It
a
almost
lot
got
of
you
trouble.
divorced.
That got me. Oh my gosh, that was, yeah, not great.
How bad is this guy sitting next to me just idling in his rumble of his exhaust? Can y'all hear it?
I can't
No,
hear
we
it.
can't hear anything.
All right.
We
I'm
hear
just
the
trying
occasional car driving by, but that's about it.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
this is for.
So let's real quick though. To create that mishap from happening with your parents.
Oh yeah.
Let's say it would be wise to put your documents in your carry-on.
Yes. Yeah.
And I personally don't know of anybody who doesn't bring a carry-on, but I mean I've seen people who don't. But I always recommend bringing at least a day bag or something like that on your back, just because to help hold documents and a couple other things. But so if you don't have a carry-on, at least make sure they're in your pocket.
Yeah. I have one more, actually.
All right.
Yeah. Don't bring your mother. I'm joking.
Wow.
No, I have to unmute myself. You could not say that about Mama Kennedy.
Well, okay. So my mother, the first cruise that we went on together, with my friends and stuff, we're sitting there. We drop off some people, and everyone who drove their car to we all parked in the same parking area. We were waiting on the shuttle to take us back. I'm on the shuttle. My mother calls me saying, "Hey, they're not letting me on the ship." I'm like, "What? I gave you your paper. I gave you your boarding pass." She's like, "I don't know. They said it's not real." I was like, I can't do anything, Mom. I'm on a shuttle. I'll be there in like 10 minutes. She's like, "Oh, I'm just joking with you. We're already up and waiting for them to call our section." I'm like, I'm on a shuttle, Mom.
That's great. Oh.
Oh, that is so amazing. Mama Kennedy come through.
Yeah.
I knew she had a little bit of practical jokester in her just because of our time down in Aruba and Bonaire and Curacao with her. But that's awesome. That is so funny. That is great. So, hey. All right.
Well,
Well,
it's not my mother every time. It's just What the hell are we looking at?
This is it was a Wally lamp. I found the photo of me staying in the crazy hotel. There's Megan in the background laughing. And yeah, that's the lamp that was in there. And so some weird little kid lamp thing. So I don't know. It was nuts.
maybe that hotel had aspirations of being a Disney resort.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, at the time, Disney did have the Disney magic there. So, I
mean,
there you go. So,
yeah.
You know what? Speaking, I know we talked about Galveston, and we talk about it often, and I'm going to have my first experience going out of there on July 27th on the Family Reunion Group Cruise 2, FRGC 2. And I'm excited about it, but I'm also excited to see Galveston getting so many new, ships in there, and with having the Disney, having Royal, having MSC, now having Carnival. I mean, there may be even more. I'm not a big cruise head like some of you guys are, but I am excited. And I mean, it's a 10-hour, almost 11-hour drive for me to get there, so it's not going to be like my go-to port, but I'm curious. Do you think that it might because Port Canaveral now has upset Miami for being the busiest? Do you think it's a possibility of it taking over for Miami? You guys have cruised out of Galveston. Is it big enough?
Oh, it's big enough, and they're building another terminal.
Yeah, they're building
right. And is Virgin coming in there as well? Is that what I'm thinking?
I think
in the new terminal.
Yeah. Well, the new terminal is going to be multi cruise line. So yeah.
Okay.
I think the issue with Galveston is I don't know how much you'll understand when you get there. I don't know how much more cruise traffic that poor little island can take, especially when up there around the port. They have to do they need to do some remodeling around the port. And so
they've started that, but
I know
Royal's way down there.
Cruises I've gone out of there. They've been under construction. I just don't know if they've done enough.
Royal's way down there. I mean, so there's plenty of space for them. So
yeah. But Galveston is making changes though, and it's for the excuse me, it's for the better, and it's to improve theirs. I mean, Mobile, but for instance, right? They're having their new bridge thing. What's it called? the catwalk, whatever that thing's called.
Yeah.
The thing that leaves the terminal in a gangway. That's it. Thank you. They're getting a new one of those put in. So they're investing in the Mobile. However, to my knowledge, there's still no talk, even as much as many people as there were that were in a few months ago on John's page, just talking about how they would love a full-time ship in Mobile. That I just, and for me, that would be fantastic. I honestly don't know that I would ever cruise out of anywhere else again, to be truthful.
I get that too.
With Galveston, with how Carnival has upgraded both terminals that they have, also kind of almost fixed the traffic issue.
Because I don't know. The last time I was there,
when were you there?
Still sucked. It was when I was on the Vista, not too long ago.
Oh, they changed the direction of traffic. They changed the way traffic works. Like,
I mean, he was just there, like, right before your.
So it used to be, everyone, went in and followed around, to the one terminal, then to the next terminal, and then now everyone goes in, but you either split off to the terminal for the Jubilee, or you go to the other terminal, which alleviates traffic because you're not all going in the same direction anymore.
But I think their biggest issue though is you have the one entry point. To get into that area, there's only that one entry point, and when you have like two cruises loading up at the same time, it is just that traffic is just so congested, and because that's how it was when we were there last, and we only got there as quick as we did because our taxi driver and I was riding with Galveston Express, and that dude was an asshole. And I mean, like, our driver, he was cutting people off left and right. He knew he even had the cops yelling at him because he was like about to run their cones down and stuff. But I mean, like, it is split off, but it's still a pain in the neck to navigate. I just think that they need more. I think they need multiple entry points, and
they have multiple exit points now. So
yeah, they do that. They do have that. So,
but used to they all merged, and you had to go through, drive in front of both terminals. Now you don't have. You only have to drive in front of the terminal that you're going to.
Yeah, I will say the one thing I loved about Miami was how kind of well organized it felt. The going into the multiple terminals all around that whole island, I felt like it was well structured, and you kind of got through where you needed to be, even though all the cops there were also assholes. But it's like, dude,
we are not anti-law. Hold on, let's stop. You keep talking about asshole cops. We're not anti-law enforcement guys, okay?
Right.
We are pro-law, but let's just clarify that.
Yeah, but they were assholes, and so I'm just saying. I mean, they were, and I was trying to explain. I lost my wife's luggage. This is more important than your safety. So
you need to keep moving. But I've only
the luggage. You don't understand what she'll do to me.
Anyway. Oh my. So we've talked about Galveston making changes. Miami already had planned theirs, I mean, I think that's part of what you mentioned is Miami knew what they wanted. They planned it. They made it already there, so they were not trying to accommodate. And as they grew, they already knew what was going to happen. So, which of course it was different 20 years ago as well.
I hope Galveston has something in mind. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just search for Carnival Cruising Podcastaways. You'll find us. It's a lot of fun. We do our votes and all that stuff on there. We post all kinds of videos, have a good time. So make sure you go on there, like both the page and the group. Also, we have a speak pipe. You can leave us a message on there. We might play it on the show. So there you go. Lots of fun there. I think I put a call to action out there for something. I don't remember what it was last week. So go back and listen, then respond to that. So I don't know.
I don't remember it either. I know we talked about doing a speak pipe call to action.
I don't know.
But I don't remember that you actually I don't remember that you actually did a call to action.
Yeah, maybe I didn't. Anyways, yeah, you can leave a message there, and we may play it. So anyways, just know that you are unique, you're special, and you are loved.
And remember, anything that happens on the ship stays on YouTube. Bye.
June the 28th. No, that's 8 days from now. July the 28th. I will have a breakfast burrito in my hands. Do your own countdown. Figure it out. Let me know in the comments. If you do, I'll send you a little something special.
There you go. And save the foosball tables. Bye-bye.
Adios.
See ya.
Later.